All right. Let me start somewhere uncomfortable. You probably don't remember the moment it happened. There wasn't a big decision, no dramatic pause, no spreadsheet. It was just a swipe, a signature, a quiet, sure, that's fine. And somehow, that small, ordinary $500 decision has been sitting in the background of your life ever since. Not loudly, not aggressively, just constantly. You feel it when you wake up already tired, when Sunday night feels heavier than it reminds you it should, when you hesitate before taking time off, switching jobs, or saying no to something you don't want to do. You don't think, this is about money. You think, this is just how life is. But what if it isn't? What if one small financial choice you barely noticed is quietly shaping your stress, your confidence, and the amount of freedom you think you're allowed to have? That's what I want to talk about, not because you did anything wrong, not because you're bad with money, but because most of us were never taught how small numbers can quietly run our entire lives. Here's the strange part. When people talk about money controlling their life, they usually picture huge things, massive debt, six-figure mistakes, big financial disasters. And if that were true, most people would be fine. But that's not how it works. The real control rarely comes from the big dramatic numbers. It comes from the small, repeatable ones you normalize. $500. That's the amount where our brain stops paying attention. It's not life-changing, it's not dangerous, it's just enough to feel manageable, and just enough to quietly remove options later. Most people misunderstand this because they think money problems are about intelligence or discipline. If I just earned more, if I just budgeted better, if I just stuck to the plan. But the truth is, this has much less to do with self-control and much more to do with psychology. Your brain doesn't experience money as math. It experiences money as safety, threat, permission, and relief. And once a small decision gets associated with relief, it sticks. Let me show you what I mean. Picture a normal month. Rent or mortgage is due. Groceries cost more than you expect, again. Something small breaks. A bill pops up you forgot about. Work is demanding more, not less. Nothing catastrophic, just pressure. And then there's a moment. You're short, or tired, or overwhelmed, so you bridge the gap. You put $500 on a card. You dip into savings. You say yes to a payment plan. You accept a slightly worse deal because it solves the problem right now. And your nervous system exhales. That's the important part. Your brain doesn't register the interest rate. It registers relief. Relief is powerful. Relief teaches your brain, this is how we survive. So the next time pressure shows up, your brain reaches for the same solution. Not because you're reckless, because it worked. Over time, that $500 becomes invisible. It's no longer a decision, it's a reflex. And reflexes shape lives. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. That $500 doesn't just cost $500, it costs margin. Margin is the space between your income and your obligations. Margin is what lets you pause. Margin is what lets you say, I'll think about it. When margin disappears, urgency takes over. And urgency is what really controls people. If you've ever felt like you can't leave a job you hate, even though the pay isn't amazing. If you've ever felt anxious checking your account even when you're doing okay. If you've ever felt behind despite working hard, that's not laziness. That's margin erosion. $500 here, $500 there. Each one small enough to ignore. Each one quietly reducing your room to breathe. What makes this even harder is that culturally we've normalized it. We call it being realistic. We call it adulting. We call it just how things are now. We joke about being broke. We laugh about living paycheck to paycheck. We bond over financial stress like it's a personality trait. But your nervous system doesn't know it's a joke. It just knows you don't feel safe. And when safety disappears, your decision-making changes. You become more short-term focused, more reactive, less willing to take risks that could actually improve your situation. You don't plan differently because you can't. You're too busy managing pressure. There's a psychological concept that explains this perfectly. Scarcity doesn't just mean not having enough money. It means your brain is constantly occupied by what you're missing. When money feels scarce, it hijacks attention. You think about it when you wake up. You think about it during conversations. You think about it when you should be resting. And the cruel part is that scarcity makes people worse at long-term decisions. Not because they are incapable, but because the brain under pressure prioritizes survival over strategy. So when someone says, "Why don't you just plan better?" they're missing the point. Planning requires slack. Slack requires margin. Margin disappears quietly, usually around $500 at a time. Now here's the part nobody likes to talk about. That $500 decision often isn't about money at all. It's about identity. It's about being the reliable one, the one who doesn't make waves, the one who handles things quietly. It's about avoiding embarrassment, avoiding conflict, avoiding feeling like you failed. So you absorb the cost instead. You tell yourself it's temporary. You tell yourself you'll fix it later. You tell yourself everyone does this. And maybe they do, but that doesn't mean it's harmless. At some point, usually without warning, people hit a strange emotional wall. They're not broke, they're not thriving. They're just tired. Tired of thinking about money. Tired of making careful choices. Tired of feeling like every decision has weight. That's when people start saying things like, "I feel stuck." Not trapped by debt necessarily, trapped by responsibility without flexibility. That's the quiet control. Not chains, gravity. Here's the turning point most people miss. Freedom is not about having more money. Freedom is about having fewer decisions that are already made for you. When $500 is always spoken for, your future is partially pre-decided. You don't choose the job as much as you accept it. You don't negotiate as much as you comply. You don't rest as much as you recover just enough to keep going. That's not weakness. That's math plus psychology. And once you see that, something shifts. Because the goal stops being make more money and becomes buy back margin. Buying back margin doesn't look impressive. It doesn't look like hustle. It doesn't look like optimization. It looks boring. It looks like slowly removing decisions that future you doesn't want to keep making. It looks like not solving every problem immediately, letting some discomfort exist without panic. It looks like asking, is this $500 fixing a real problem or quieting my nervous system? That question alone changes behavior. Here's what this looks like in real life. Instead of asking, can I afford this? You start asking, what does this cost my future flexibility? Instead of chasing perfect budgets, you focus on reducing recurring pressure. The subscription you don't love but keep because canceling feels annoying. The convenience choices that quietly became defaults. The small upgrades that felt deserved but never stopped. None of these are moral failures. They're patterns. And patterns can be changed gently.
One of the most calming realizations is this. You don't need to win money. You just need to stop bleeding optional stress. Most people don't need extreme discipline. They need fewer automatic drains on attention and energy. When margin starts to return, something surprising happens. Your thinking slows down. Your decisions improve. Your confidence grows without effort. Not because life became easy, but because you're no longer negotiating with urgency all the time. I want to be clear about something. This isn't about never spending $500.
It's about choosing when it gets to matter. Spending intentionally feels different in your body. There's no lingering anxiety, no quiet regret, no background hum of stress. It's the difference between deciding and reacting, and that difference changes everything. The people who feel calm about money aren't always richer. They just have fewer invisible commitments. They've built lives where fewer things need constant managing. That's not flashy, but it's powerful. If you're listening to this and thinking, I see myself in this, I want you to know something. You're not behind. You're not broken. You didn't miss some secret class everyone else took. You adapted. You made reasonable decisions under pressure. The fact that you're even noticing this means you're already regaining control. So here's the quiet invitation. The next time a $500 decision shows up, pause. Not to judge it, not to shame yourself, just to notice what it's really buying. Relief? Silence? Approval? Time? And ask whether there's another way to get that feeling without giving up future freedom. Sometimes there won't be, and that's okay. Progress isn't perfection, it's awareness repeated calmly. Over time, those small pauses add up. Margin returns slowly, confidence follows. Life feels less like a series of emergencies and more like a sequence of choices. And one day, without a big announcement, you realize something important. Money doesn't feel like it's running your life anymore. Not because you have more of it, but because fewer small decisions are quietly controlling you. And that's a kind of freedom that lasts. Not loud, not dramatic, just steady.